welcome to this deep dive. We're here today to really unpack some fascinating ideas about personal growth.
Yeah, looking at those inner workings that kind of help us navigate life a bit better.
Exactly. Think of it as us building a mental toolkit together, pulling out the most valuable bits for you, the listener. No overwhelm, just useful insights.
We've gone through some really compelling stuff about how our minds work, the hurdles we put up for ourselves, and, well, some pretty powerful ways to unlock more potential.
It's all about getting a handle on what drives our thoughts, our actions, and, the results we get in life.
Fundamentally, yes.
Okay, so first up, something that really resonated was this concept of mindset. Not just thinking positive, but more like the glasses you see the world through.
That's a great way to put it. Your mindset really is that primary filter. It shapes how you interpret everything and what you even think is possible.
Right.
There is this story in the material about someone just convinced they were destined to fail, no matter what they did.
And the point wasn't that it was true, objectively.
Yeah, exactly. It was presented as a direct result of their negative mindset. It sort of became a self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah, it's like your mind actively hunts for evidence to back up what it already believes, even if that view is, skewed.
And the flip side, which the material really hammers home, is how developing a growth mindset can genuinely open doors you didn't even see before.
So a growth mindset, that's believing you can develop your abilities.
Right.
Not that they're just fixed.
Precisely. Believing intelligence, skills, they can be cultivated through effort, through dedication. It's a huge shift from thinking your qualities are just set in stone.
Right.
That change alone can be massive.
And it's practical too, not just theory. The sources talk about spotting and actively reframing negative self-talk.
Yes, that's key.
Like instead of, I'm terrible at speaking, you switch it to something like, okay, I'm learning to express myself more clearly every day.
See, that little language shift feels small, maybe, but the potential impact is huge. It's focusing on the process, the learning, not some fixed flaw.
That internal chatter really matters.
It profoundly shapes our beliefs and actions over time. Another great tip was replacing I can't with not yet.
Not yet. I like that.
It just adds that possibility, doesn't it? Acknowledges it's a journey, not a dead end.
Okay, moving on. Procrastination. Something pretty much everyone struggles with sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And the sources had a really insightful take. It's often not about laziness. It's more about fear, avoiding something uncomfortable.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just lack of willpower, but maybe dodging fear of failure, or just the task itself feels yucky.
Or even fear of success sometimes, the changes that might bring. It's a sophisticated defense mechanism, really.
And that self-talk. I'll start tomorrow, need the right mood, I'll wait till I feel ready. The material called them traps.
Yeah.
That hit home.
They really are traps. They sound reasonable in the moment, don't they? But they just keep you stuck, delaying. They give you that temporary relief, but stop you moving forward on what actually matters. There's this analogy I found really good. A farmer saving chickens from a flood, but leaving his valuable tools behind. He's saving the urgent stuff, the noisy chickens, but forgetting the important stuff, the tools.
Wow, okay. That paints a picture. We prioritize the immediate shouts over the quiet, important work.
We do. It's so easy to get caught up in the now, the demands, and lose sight of the things that will actually build our future.
And the danger is, if you keep putting those important things off, they kind of fade.
Yeah.
Until suddenly it's a crisis.
Exactly. They become invisible until, boom, it's urgent and way more stressful. But there's a practical way out suggested.
Oh, yeah.
Just tackle one thing you've been putting off for only 10 minutes. Every morning.
10 minutes. Okay, that feels doable. Lowers the bar.
Right. It breaks that avoidance cycle. Even that tiny bit of action starts chipping away at procrastination's power.
Makes sense. Small steps build momentum. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Self-discipline. My first thought is usually, restriction. No fun.
Huh. Yeah, that's the common view, isn't it? Rigid, boring.
But the material flips it. It says discipline is actually the key to freedom. That feels backwards.
It does feel backwards at first, but think about it. Structure, consistent effort. It actually gives you more control, creates space for expression, for opportunities. The analogy they used was a musician, practicing scales, drills over and over. Seems boring, right?
Yeah, tedious.
But that discipline, that's what gives them the freedom to improvise later, to really play on stage. Mastery of the basics unlocks creativity.
Okay, I see that. You need the foundation to be truly free in whatever you do. It connects to that Tony Robbins quote, too, about quality of life and comfort with uncertainty.
Exactly. Discipline builds that inner strength, that resilience. It helps you handle life's messiness with more confidence.
So it's about steering your own ship, rather than just being tossed around by impulses.
That's the contrast they draw. Disciplined person, steering the ship. Undisciplined, kind of a slave to whims, impulses. Discipline gives you agency.
And this idea of non-negotiables seems like a practical starting point. Small daily habits you just do.
Yes. Like 10 minutes of reading. No phone first thing in the morning for, say, 30 minutes. One healthy meal guaranteed.
They don't sound huge on their own.
No, but sticking to them consistently, that builds serious mental muscle over time. It's like you're proving to yourself you can commit.
Like mental push-ups.
Exactly like mental push-ups, strengthening that inner resolve, belief in yourself.
Okay, let's talk fear. We all feel it. The sources suggest a lot of it is, well, kind of an illusion, whispering doubts that aren't really real.
That's a huge insight. Fear often lives in the what if, worst case scenarios that statistically rarely happen.
And we're usually tougher than we think.
Way tougher. We often underestimate our own resilience, our ability to cope. Fear limits our perception of what we can handle.
There was that short story, The Boy and the Monster Under the Bed.
Yes. Simple but so effective. He imagines this terrifying thing, but when he finally looks...
Nothing there. The fear vanishes when you face it.
Precisely. Avoiding it just makes it bigger in your head. Confronting it, even in small ways, demystifies it. You see it for what it is.
And the material gave some good questions for when fear pops up.
Yeah, really practical, like asking yourself, okay, what exactly am I afraid of here?
And what's the absolute worst that could happen?
And then, crucially, could I actually survive that worst case? Usually the answer is yes.
It forces you to get logical instead of just being swept away by the feeling.
Right. Brings it out of the shadows. And that Denzel Washington quote fits perfectly here.
Do what you have to do what you want to do. Sometimes you just got to push through the fear.
Avoiding the discomfort now can mean missing out on what you really want long term. Courage isn't not feeling fear, it's acting anyway.
Right. Okay, next up, overthinking. That feeling of being stuck in your head, analyzing everything.
Oh yeah, analysis paralysis. It feels like you're being careful, like you're in control.
But really, it's often just fear stopping you from actually doing anything.
Often, yes. It's a subtle way to avoid taking action. You get caught in this loop of what ifs and should it is, instead of just starting.
The metaphor they used was brilliant, trying to learn swimming by only reading books.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can know all the theory, right? Every stroke, every breathing technique. But until you actually get in the water.
You can't swim. It really highlights needing to just do it.
Exactly. Planning is useful, sure. But real progress, real learning, it comes from experience, from trying things.
So developing a bias for action, as they put it.
Yeah. Even tiny, imperfect steps are better than getting stuck thinking. Like, write one paragraph, go for that short walk, just 5 minutes of language practice, anything.
Get the ball rolling.
Because motion creates momentum. Once you start, even a little bit, it's so much easier to keep going. Breaks that inertia.
Definitely felt that. Now, this next one is, well, it feels profound. Separating yourself from your thoughts.
Yes. The idea that you have a mind, but you are not your mind. You are not your thoughts.
That's a big shift. We tend to believe every thought that pops into our head, right?
We really do. We identify with them so strongly. I think this, therefore I am this. But thoughts are more like clouds passing in the sky. They come and go.
Transient, not permanent facts about us.
Exactly. So that example they gave, the thought, I'm a failure, learning to see that as just a thought, not a fundamental truth about you, that's powerful.
Stops it from defining you.
Right. You detach. You can look at it and ask, is this thought actually true? Is it helpful? Instead of just automatically buying into it.
And the mindfulness practice.
Yeah.
Pausing with a negative thought, saying this is a thought, not truth, and asking, is it helpful? Seems like a solid technique.
It really is. Creates that crucial space. And the suggestion for just 3 minutes of silent breath focus each day.
Yeah, seems manageable.
It helps you practice just observing thoughts, watching them come and go without getting tangled up. Builds that observer muscle.
Observer muscle, I like that. Okay, habits. How our daily actions actually build who we are, our identity.
It's fundamental. Habits are like the unseen architects of our lives. They shape our character, our results, everything.
The analogy was habits as bricks, right? Building a house.
Yeah, either a strong house on a solid foundation or one built on shaky sand. Good habits build strength, bad ones undermine you. It's that cumulative effect.
And the steps for building good ones seemed really smart. Start tiny.
Super tiny. Like one push-up, one page of a book, makes it easy to start.
Stack habits, link a new one to something you already do.
Yeah, like gratitude right after brushing your teeth uses an existing pathway.
Track your progress. Reward yourself.
Tracking shows you you're actually doing it, which is motivating, and rewards, even small ones, reinforce the behavior. Makes your brain want to do it again.
It makes sense. And that Brian Tracy quote sums it up nicely.
Successful people are simply those with successful habits. It really boils down to that consistency.
Okay, interesting shift here. From time management to energy management.
Yes. This is crucial and often missed. It's not just about having time, it's about having the energy to use that time well.
We've all been there, right? Free evening, but you're just drained.
Yeah.
Can't focus.
Totally. Energy is finite. You have to manage it, renew it. Like that saying about sharpening the axe before chopping wood.
Taking time to sharpen actually makes you faster overall.
Exactly. Investing in energy renewal pays off big time in productivity and just feeling better.
And the ways to sharpen the mind are pretty straightforward, really. Sleep.
Huge one. 7-8 hours is kind of the gold standard for most adults.
Daily movement. Even just 15 minutes.
Yep, gets the blood flowing, clears the head. Energizing food choices, obviously.
And working in focused blocks with actual breaks, not just powering through for hours.
Yeah. Our brains aren't designed for that constant grind. Focused work, then a real break to recharge. It's way more effective. These basics fuel everything else.
Makes total sense. Okay, let's tackle failure. Big, scary F word for many.
Huh, indeed. But the sources really push for a reframe here. Failure isn't the end, it's part of the process, often essential for learning and success.
The key is not equating experiencing failure with being a failure, right?
Exactly, that's the trap. A setback is an event. It doesn't define your worth or your capability.
The Thomas Edison story is always a good reminder, all those attempts with the light bulb.
He didn't see them as failures, did he? He saw them as discovering thousands of ways not to make a light bulb. Each one was a step forward.
Learning, feedback.
That's the reframe. Failure is feedback, valuable data, the material suggested steps. Redefine it as feedback. Analyze it, what can I learn? But without beating yourself up.
I'm sure your story, that feels vulnerable.
It can be, but it's also empowering. It normalizes struggle and connects you with others. Plus, people often admire courage, trying more than they admire perceived perfection anyway.
That's a great point, valuing the effort, the journey. Okay, getting towards the end here. Inner work for outer success.
Yes, the idea that what's going on inside thoughts, beliefs, emotions is the foundation for what shows up outside.
Like the tree and its roots analogy. Strong roots, strong tree.
Exactly. You can't build a lasting skyscraper on sand, trying to achieve big things externally without sorting out the internal stuff. It's shaky, unsustainable.
So cultivate those inner roots. The suggestions were daily practices.
Like a morning check-in. How am I feeling? What thoughts are here? What choices will I make today?
An evening reflection. One win, one lesson, one thing I'm grateful for.
And that self-talk filter again. Actively catching and replacing the negative stuff. Building yourself up internally.
It all connects. And that Joe Dispenza quote really nails it.
Your personality creates your personal reality. Change your thoughts and your life changes. It's that direct link. Inner world shapes outer world.
Powerful stuff. Finally, the power of purpose.
The why. Having that clear sense of purpose gives meaning, direction, strength, especially when things get tough.
It fuels you. Like that story about the NASA janitor.
Yeah, seeing his job cleaning as contributing to putting a man on the moon. That transforms the task, doesn't it?
Totally. Makes it part of a mission, not just a chore.
Yeah.
Routine becomes legacy.
Purpose elevates things. It gives you that bigger reason.
And the ways to find it. Reflect on what makes you feel alive. Notice what people thank you for. Ask how you'd want to help the world.
Good starting points for exploration. And remembering, purpose isn't always a job title, it's the underlying why. What drives you?
Connecting daily stuff to that bigger why seems key for fulfillment.
Definitely brings more engagement, resilience, satisfaction.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive. Wow, we've covered a lot. Mindset is the lens.
Procrastination is fear. Discipline as freedom.
Seeing fear is often illusory.
Yeah.
Taking action over getting stuck thinking.
Separating self from thoughts. Habits shaping identity.
Energy management being key. Failure is learning.
Inner work fueling outer success. And the driving force of purpose. Quite a toolkit.
It really is. And hopefully it serves as, a mirror for you listening and a bit of a nudge to action.
Yeah, it's all about that journey of growth, not perfection, just consistent effort, showing up for yourself.
Embracing that continuous improvement.
Exactly. Progress, not perfection.
Well, we'll leave you with one last powerful thought to chew on from Tony Robbins. It's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. Really makes you think about the power you hold.
It certainly does.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.